Welcome to my Spider-Man reviews, leading up to Spider-Man No Way Home hopefully coming out in December. Now, you may be wondering why I'm reviewing all of the Spider-Man movies when it's just a Tom Holland. Well, we already pretty much know that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in here, so why not go back and appreciate their films and talk about them? Also, spoiler warning for Spider-Man. So overall, this movie is a pretty big blast. And it's a very fun movie to watch, and I love it every time I watch it. But there's some cringy and dated stuff in here that really distracts you from the movie. And this will be a bit of a complicated movie to talk about because I like it, but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't work about the film today. So let's just get started. Let's start off by talking about the action. The action is very fun. The only real issue with it is that there's some CGI that looks pretty bad by today's standards, and it's a little weird considering there's a lot of better CGI for the time. But overall, it's a very fun time and a blast, and you're never really bored with the action sequences because they're really actually pretty cool still today, and you're constantly on the edge of your seat just to see what crazy things they're gonna throw at you next. Let's talk about the story. The story is actually pretty great. Unlike most superhero movies nowadays, this film really takes its time to develop the characters. The first half is all about character development and introducing you to the world of Spider-Man. And it really makes the characters a lot more interesting, and they shine a lot more than they would have if the story wasn't this good. You also don't care that Spider-Man isn't in this movie for about an hour because you're so invested in the story and the characters, and you actually even forget that Spider-Man is even in this movie for the first half because it's so character driven and it's so good. But let's talk about the actual characters. The characters are a bit mixed for me. Every person is pretty good and they get at least some form of character development in the first 2/3. But it really feels like they stopped focusing on the characters in the last third for just a giant battle between Spider-Man and Green Goblin. And then it really makes the characters just seem like plot conveniences or inconveniences, and it gets kind of annoying when they're in danger or show up in the movie because they don't really have a purpose anymore. Let's talk about the actors. Everyone in here does a really great job. Tobey Maguire is great as Spider-Man. He was really entertaining to watch and also has some great one-liners and quips. And he probably would be my favorite Spider-Man if Tom Holland did not play Spider-Man. But Tom Holland was so good that Tobey Maguire has to come in second place. Willem Dafoe is also very good as Green Goblin, and my only complaint is that in a couple scenes he doesn't seem like he's giving it at all, and he doesn't really do a great job for about a third of the scenes he's in. But overall, he's really great. But my real only problem with the other characters is Kirsten Dunst and James Franco as MJ and Harry. They aren't particularly bad in the movie, but they are a bit of an issue because they just kind of like scream or yell for about half of the scenes they're in, and it gets a little annoying, but they're still very great in the roles. Let's get to the big problem of the movie, and it's the datedness. The datedness is very distracting, and it really makes the scenes where the datedness kicks in bad, and it distracts you from the movie, and it's kind of disappointing because I had a lot of fun with the movie, and it sucks that there's some cringiness to the film. But at least it's only like a third of the movie, and the movie still has 2/3 that are really well acted and really well written. Overall, Spider-Man is a great film. It took me a couple viewings to really like this movie, but it just clicked for me one of the times I watched it, and now I really like this film, and it's a blast whenever I watch it. And the only real problem that keeps it from me giving it a better score is the story issues and datedness, but I'm going to give Spider-Man an 8 out of 10. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll be back soon with a lot more reviews coming very soon, so stay tuned for those. You can check out my other channels linked in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!